What addiction is seen as completely normal by society? Here in the UK, our drinking culture seems to have no issue with people always being in the pub, or people needing a pint at work, at lunchtime to get through the time. Only people who are homeless and your stereotypical junkie type, seem to be ever labeled as alcoholics. Weirdly as well, some seem to celebrate alcoholism, and show off how much they drink. Smartphones in general, I'd say. So many, myself included, are unable to put their phones away completely during social settings. The phone follows you everywhere now. I remember the days when I would read the ingredients on the nearest shampoo bottle while taking a shit, because there was nothing else to do. Edit, I forgot to add the procrastination it causes. As we speak, I've been putting off a jog for at least 2 hours by browsing Reddit instead. Social media. Everyone is always on social media, even I am personally an addict. I'm constantly taking pictures for my Instagram, posting on my Snapchat, or scrolling through TikTok. An endless cycle between the three apps. Hustle culture and neglecting your sleep and social life in order to hustle more. Sufficient amounts of quality sleep are one of the most important things you can do to live a long and healthy life, as important as diet and exercise. And you need a social life, be in with friends or playing games online, etc., in order to keep your mental health good. Attention, some can't see the truth that they are out there trying to compete against one another, and can't understand why people don't like them, so they try harder. It's an endless loop, because they will never be happy with what they have already. Life. I was gonna say cocaine, but okay. Not crack, but cocaine is hugely accepted within pro sports, celebrities, rich people, so on and so forth. It's definitely frowned upon for the most part, but it's also not meth or crack. You'd be surprised at the amount of people who do it. People you'd never think of. It's a big secret a lot of the time, but it's extremely popular. Cocaine is everywhere. In America, living to work. 60+ hour work weeks and never taking vacation out of a weird loyalty to a company that will lay you off without hesitation, if the bottom line is at risk. Drinking and smoking are the obvious ones. But sugar is a hidden demon. I've been weaning myself off it for the last 2 months, my quality of life is night and day in comparison. Anger addiction. Certainly being outraged about social problems can result in effective social action. Being outraged feels more powerful and active than sadness or empathy. Try expressing thoughts and prayers and take a look at the angry responses from people who associate anger with empowerment. Walking around in a constant state of outrage, even if it's justified about a certain thing, may eventually cause people to redirect their anger toward every minor irritant in their lives because it has the illusion of control and power. Anger can also escalate into destructive behavior that is not effective in addressing whatever problem needs solving. Being angry all the time can't be good for mental, physical, or emotional health, or for the people who have to encounter the angry person. Wine addiction, and then they say, "I'm not an alcoholic." Lady, you drink a bottle a day, I'm pretty sure you are, because wine is still an alcoholic drink. Excessive eating. It's not being body positive, it is being point blank unhealthy. People need to stop trying to normalize obesity. Marijuana. Most my friends smoke. A few are very addicted and not themselves if they can't get their smoking in. They go through withdrawals. Maybe it's because of how potent the stuff is nowadays. Religion. A girl I know can't have a conversation without quoting the Bible or talking about Jesus, like he is an old friend of hers. I'm not religious, so I find it really annoying, but everyone else seems fine with it. Alcohol, honestly. Like, yeah, it can get bad enough that people see it as a problem, but it is way later than it should be, and alcohol is so much a requirement for people to have fun that it's kind of sad. I know people who will not date people who don't drink. A friend of my wife's recently was sent a photo of her friend by her fiancé, who is a doctor, who was giving her 4 fluids at home because she was so dangerously drunk. It was done in a jokey manner. My wife and I were concerned, but we're so the minority with that group that it fell on deaf ears. Though, pretty inarguably, the latter is into the, it's a serious problem kind of thing, but everyone's acceptance of alcohol just kind of makes it a fun little anecdote. Her brother passed out with his eyes open in a locked bathroom. They had to break the door down. I thought the kid was dead. Another fun anecdote. I'd think it was just that group, but I hear these fun stories from so many people. Gotcha addiction. Rather than trying to have useful conversations, a ton of people are just looking for ways to make other people wrong about stuff, and to one-up them. Righteous indignation. So much of our world has become addicted to the endorphin rush they get when they work up a fit of righteous indignation. They get to point their finger at that bad person and proclaim their own victimhood. It is not only acceptable, but even lauded. It happens on the small, individual scale, and on the large, even global scale. This addiction has become the single defining characteristic of modern political discourse. This addiction has torn apart families, ruined friendships, and if it continues unabated, will destroy democracy. Weed. Prepared for a barrage of downvotes, but it's true. I don't hate it, I still use it myself. Just not nearly as much as I used to in my early 20s, which was pretty much all day every day when I was clearly addicted and in denial. I know, but it's not addictive, which always cracks me up. You can become fully dependent on almost anything if you do it too frequently. A fake lifestyle. Social media, of course, is the root cause, but has sprouted this narcissism culture of always bragging, and if you run out of actual things to brag about, you invent it. You fake it. Because our society prioritizes profits. Things are meant to be addictive to sell, so people buy. Sugar is worse than caffeine. Our food supply is inundated with packaged garbage, much of which is targeted to children. We can't get ads out of our face. Profit over people. Money. So normal that I can't find anyone mentioning it. People are encouraged to get as much as they can, more than they need, and any attempt to cut them off can provoke anger and retaliation. Instead of being addressed, the addiction is tolerated if not defended. A billionaire may often be portrayed as a success rather than someone with a worrying socially damaging problem. Alcohol. Not meaning actual alcoholism, but most people appear to have some pretty high dependence. Furthermore, the dependence on alcohol to have a good time, most social events being oriented around it because it's a social lubricant. My workplace has about 20 to 25 people every year who try dry January and they all fail come the first weekend/Friday. It's perfectly fine to slip some addictive sugar into your addictive coffee. Lots of people also like to enjoy this with an addictive cigarette, though this is admittedly less normal than it was 10 to 15 years ago. But all of this pales in comparison to social media addiction. Greed. Well, greed at the cost of others' well-being, like employees and customers' safety. And far beyond what any normal human could use in a lifetime. Maybe it's more of an American thing, but a lot of people just worship rich people and contribute to their riches by vicariously wanting to be like them and buying their products, like the Kardashians. Hoarding anything else is usually seen as a mental illness, but having more dollar than God? A-okay. Porn. Most people don't want to acknowledge the detrimental impacts porn has on the viewer, or how exploitive the industry is. It's such a common addiction, that people think you're the weird or unreasonable one, for not watching it, or not wanting your partner to use it. Getting skinny/losing weight. Especially in developing countries, where people aren't aware of issues like eating disorders, people will absolutely praise you for starving yourself. For me, when I was deep into anorexia, I could openly starve myself in front of my family because I was on a diet. Although my family did intervene, once I started looking emaciated. But people around me would straight up praise me for not eating. Gaming. It's become cool to be seen as someone who spends 5+ hours a day playing video games. I love me some games, but had to break out of the habit because my mood for each day would be heavily influenced by how many League of Legends matches I had won. It's a proper addiction. Makeup. And it absolutely is an addiction for many women. Most of the women I know will not leave the house without putting it on, and they're among the more mild users I have found. Forget airbrushing in magazines, ladies. We've all been programmed to airbrush ourselves in reality. I know I am going to earn a lot of downvotes and see a lot of replies about how you wear makeup for yourself, but just consider what I am saying for a minute. Caffeine addiction. If you're one of the people who says they can't function without their coffee first, then you technically have a drug problem. Good luck. Anything that is derived from short-term, quick dopamine releases. Our devices and internet made it possible to consume every kind of content we want, within minutes. And our brains have a hard time adjusting to this, since this is only since the last 30 to 40 years. Horny? Just check one of 400 billion videos of hookers do their job on cam. Want attention? Just go half naked, make a selfie and throw it on IG. While actual happiness lies in progressing towards a valued goal, we just distract ourselves with short-term dopamine releases. Because progressing means you might need years to be as good as you want to be or reach your goal. And yeah, That means you won't have that good dopamine feeling all the time, which we grow so accustomed to because we're literally growing up like that. Good luck depriving yourself from all that dopamine horse shit, your brain has grown accustomed to it. Thank you for watching Reddit Stories. May you and your loved ones have a blessed day.